Want to visit 11 countries and just walk a couple of miles? Shrink down to the size of miles, run around Paris? Save the galaxy? Maybe you just want to ride the slowest roller coaster in the world. Well, let's head to Epcot. Hey everybody, welcome to Down the Road. My name is Will Van Winkle. Our first day at Disney World for Christmas was spent at the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, otherwise known as Epcot. It was only my second time there, so I still have a lot to explore. We do know that we took the Friendship boat from Hollywood Studios to the back of the park, and the boat takes about 30 minutes and stops at Hollywood Studios, Swan and Dolphin Hotel, Yacht and Beach Club Resort, Disney's Boardwalk Inn, and then finally at Epcot. You could also take a Skyliner from Hollywood and have to transfer at, I think, Caribbean Beach Resort. It can take a lot of time if there's a lot of guests heading that way. Both modes will take you to the back entrance of Epcot, which is the best way to go if you're planning on rope dropping some of those attractions in the back, like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. We did this in June, and then we hit Les Halles right afterwards for some amazing pastries and baguettes. But we still spent about 45 minutes or so in line at Remy's. So this year, or this time, we decided to rope drop Frozen Ever After. We did make the mistake of heading around to the right, trying to go through the France Pavilion. We only made it a little way before finding out that the path was blocked. So we're not sure if it was always blocked or if there's an event going on. Epcot does have a lot of events. But it's something to consider. So since that way was blocked and we didn't really know why, we decided to just let it go and head back around. Posted wait time for Frozen Ever After was about 40 minutes. We made it on and off the ride before the park officially opened, and then hightailed it over to Test Track. We were in line right around the 9 a.m. official opening time. I've heard Test Track wasn't really a good ride, so we skipped it in June. Line was super short this time around because we were able to get in as our resort's early entry, and I really enjoyed it. Many have compared it to a daily commute, but the track really made it a lot of fun, middle of the road kind of ride. It's not too extreme for small kids, but not too boring for those thrill seekers. While at the front of the park, we did look into riding Spaceship Earth. The park was already open at this point, and with the not a golf ball being the biggest thing people see when they get into the park, they tend to jump in the queue for that real quick. We did ride it in June, and it is a nice way to get out of the heat for a little bit. It takes about 15 minutes, so I can kind of compare that to Carousel of Progress over at Magic Kingdom, but without the catchy little tune. Wait times at Christmas time were posted a little over an hour, so we decided it really wasn't worth it in our opinion. Now, the reason I call this the slowest roller coaster in the world, it does have a 1.24 mile an hour speed, top speed, and because of the track system, it is registered as a roller coaster. Now, there is a walking roller coaster in Duisburg, Germany called the Tiger and Turtle, but most people tend to walk about 2 to 3 miles an hour, making Spaceship Earth the slowest roller coaster in the world. Disney does call it a dark ride, so it doesn't get that designation, but let's call it what it is. So by now we had a lightning lane booked for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and we decided to head back towards the France Pavilion and stopped off at Germany. Now, I lived there off and on for 9 years. My daughter was with us. She is a dual citizen. She's German as well. And we thought so much more could have been done with this. And it's much more than schnitzel beer and sausage. And that's what's depicted there. Now, I understand they can only do so much with each land. It just felt like Germany was rushed and they missed so much of the history that would have translated better to people in America and people that have never been there and people that may be out of reach for them. I'd imagine it's probably that way with some of the other lands. I didn't live in most of those other lands. There is no Russian pavilion, so I lived in the former Soviet Union. But having known Germany, it felt like it was just kind of thrown together, especially when you compare it to the France and Mexico pavilions. There was just so much more going on, and it seemed a little more authentic in those rather than just like, here it is, look at it. When we got over to Remy's for our lightning lane, we shrank down to the size of a mouse very quickly. If you look at the flooring, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Imagineers start your transformation, put you down to the size of a rat, take you on the ride, and you can experience the ride from the rat's point of view. And if you look at the bricks tiles, as you're leaving, you can see where you're starting to return to normal size at the end of the ride. So they use different sizes bricks to indicate that change, or tiles rather. The ride itself is one of the newer trackless 3D rides. Puts you in Gusteau's kitchen as a rat, and it is enjoyable for all. But by now, it was time to stop for lunch. We had reservations at Via Napoli. Now, I've heard many reviewers state that the pasta is bad, and the table next to us ordered chicken parmesan. When it was brought out, I could see from a table away that the pasta was extremely overcooked, and can understand why it was getting the reviews that it was getting for dishes other than the pizza. Pizza, however, is getting great reviews. Most people are recommending getting it well done, and when we ordered ours, we did understand why. It's a very thin crust, and it basically just falls apart when you go to pull it. So getting it well done would make the pizza a little easier to manipulate. What the flavor was great, and it was very similar to pizzas that I had while I was visiting Italy. There are 3 ovens. They're named after the volcanoes in Italy, and you can see those from the dining room. And apparently, everyone's taking pictures of these ovens because the chefs kind of see a camera come out and they immediately look down, or they get a look on their face like, not again. So they're really used to getting the pictures taken. Don't worry if they're in the way. No one said anything about it. If you do order items other than just pizza, do realize that they may not arrive at the same time. I overheard a waiter telling another table that there are 3 different kitchens, so it can make synchronizing the meal a little difficult. But the pizza is what everybody recommends, and I can understand why after seeing the food in person. So back in June, we had quick service fish and chips in England with no trouble finding a place to sit. The food was good, did not compare to table services such as Via Napoli and Chefs de France, where we ate back in June. I wanted to eat there again. Sadly, I was outvoted. Luckily, we did get back to Les Halles to grab some of those pastries and baguettes. We got 3 extra, and I put them in my drink pockets for my backpack. These are about 18 inches long. So apparently, when I turned around, I smacked my fiancée Dana in the face with a baguette, who then ducked to dodge the next one and knocked my daughter Dia over. So just be careful how you're carrying those. I think going forward, I'll probably cut those in half, because what we're doing is, we'll eat them while they're fresh, and if it gets past the fresh stage, we'll use the rest to make the most amazing French toast in our RV. Just be careful how you're carrying it. As I said, it's a little large, so I think going forward, next time we go to Epcot, I will cut those in half so that I don't cause any injuries to anybody. And I'm sorry that I hit you with a baguette, although I wish I would have seen it. I thought it would have been hilarious. We did not do the drink around the world thing, but we do enjoy the different pavilions. These may not be the most interesting things to do with smaller kids, so make sure you plan accordingly. But after eating, we had some time to kill, so we jumped on some of those filler rides like Living with the Land and Journey into Imagination with Figment. We hit these while waiting for the virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which I refrained from due to a rapidly developing headache at this time. And if you're like me, reverse launch and upside down roller coasters just gives you a headache anyway, so I was just afraid it was going to get worse. So I sat that one out, and reviews from the party both in June and at Christmas time was definite don't miss if you are into thrill rides and or do not suffer from motion sickness. One thing that we would not go on would be Mission Space. This is the only ride in all of the Disney parks that has its own cleanup crew. So if they have someone designated to clean up because people are getting sick, it's a pretty extreme ride. They do have 2 different types of the ride. One's a little less adventurous, but from what I hear, they're both still pretty high up there on the charts. I also had to miss out on our lightning lane for Soarin'. This did teach us one thing though. So if you have a lightning lane and somebody or multiple people in your party can't make it for whatever reason, the rest of the party should just go check in, and then once you've scanned in at the second point, if there is one, cancel the rest of the group that didn't make it. We kept looking for a way to change this on the app. We couldn't find anything. Finally, that's what was done. You have to cancel those unused lightning lanes, because if you don't, it's going to make booking future ones a little more difficult. Shows as unused, and so you may not be eligible as quickly as if you just go ahead and cancel them when the people that are going on the ride get in there. I split off from Dana and Dia to catch a bus back to Fort Wilderness. They finished off Epcot, and then we met up again at Magic Kingdom a couple hours later. The food at Epcot is some of the best at the parks, and I think that alone makes Epcot worth a visit. They add more rides to the park. It becomes more appealing to everybody. There's a lot of construction going on. There's a nickname Walcott because of that. But they're just trying to upgrade the park and make it a little more enjoyable for everybody. I hope this video helps you with your trip. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, let us know what you think, ask any questions that you may have. If you like the original music that I've used in the background, be sure to look for it on Spotify, Apple Music, right here on YouTube, or wherever you stream music. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road.
I won't be coming home. Let's hit the road.